Ho, ho, ho.
Midgets.
I have 3 hoes for you. And 2 midgets. Here come the hoes. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Happy Hanukkah. Last day of Hanukkah. I had some Hamas jokes, but I hear it's inappropriate to make fun of terrorists and their supporters now, and that I'm supposed to harsh on Zionists because Israel is awful and defended themselves against being brutally and mercilessly attacked in the middle of the night, killing over 1,000 civilians who slept in their beds. So, in Greg Medford fashion, I'm going to rip it old school. F Hamas, pro-Israel all the way. If you don't like it, suck a big bag of dicks. So Merry fucking Christmas. We're going to get rolling with our Christmas show. I'm going to let it rip. I haven't been on in a while, and I'm a bit of a loose cannon right now. Shit's been going down. My personal life is mayhem. It's fantastic. I want to start with a knife with a little Marine Corps fun for all you jarheads out there. This knife had gone off to one of our dealers, one of our lovely dealers in California, and immediately the guys in California told him the Eagle Globe and Anchor was wrong. It's not the case. We're going here to Knife Cam 2. Maybe you could, I don't know, Bobby, are you able to zoom in on that, or is that as zoomed in as it gets? All right, so we have this Antic all in black DLC, which is just beautiful, with the Marine Corps Eagle Globe and Anchor on it. Now, I don't do anything. I don't like stuff straight up and down because that's what production kids do. I like stuff at funky angles because I'm kind of artsy. So I don't like stuff all matchy squared up because I have a background as a Nipponophile. I have a background in Japanese swordsmanship and martial arts, and I used to grow up on side trees and do flower arranging. And yes, I did Ikebana. And I like the Eagle Globe and Anchor at a funky angle on the knife. Because when you hold the knife, you don't hold it straight in your hand up and down like this. You hold it at the natural angle of your wrist. And for the natural angle of the wrist, the Eagle Globe and Anchor is perfectly straight up and down. Because that's how you would be holding the knife if you were using it. And if you look at it, that Eagle Globe and Anchor just peers out at you. Perfectly straight up and down. So, our first knife today is not anywhere on the MedfordKnife.com holiday show. This is one you have to call the factory for. If you'd like this Marine Corps knife for a jarhead in your life, for someone from the clan Jarhead, someone of the 0311 variety or knows what 0311 means, someone of the knuckle-dragging warrior class of Jarhead, Devil Dog, Teufelhund, you can reach out to the factory, 623-249-4506, and you can buy the Jarhead, the Antic Jarhead knife today. And the Eagle Globe and Anchor is perfectly straight for how you carry it and use it and hold it, not for how you put it in a case. Now, well, back to our regularly scheduled show. Knife number 1, we're going to be doing 45 knives today, 9 ASK knives. If you'd like to buy any one of these knives, all you have to do for the Medford Knife Legacy lineup, go to MedfordKnife.com on the homepage. You'll see something at the top for Santa's sleigh. It's a vault with some reindeers on it. Click on that. Boom. You'll be right in the list. You'll see the knives there. They will go live as I talk about them today. For the ASK knives, those are the little multi-tool knives. As we get to the ASK knives, go to ASKknife.com. When you get there to the homepage, there's a link on the homepage. Click the link. Boom. You'll hop into the list. Same. It's really straightforward. MedfordKnife.com, ASKknife.com. I'll remind you about that each time we do it. Let's enjoy the show, and let's see what crazy shit comes out of my mouth. Now, we did a full dry run of the show yesterday, and I got to tell you, it was awesome. We should have recorded it. but we didn't. So we're doing it today. Here we go. What's our first knife? Peaks and Valleys Slim MIDI. It's been blasted. Tops have been brushed. Blue anno on it. Contrast. Flame hardware. Tumble. Let me get my glasses on. I don't want Santa to say this shit wrong. Tumbled. And folks, you heard this right. Magna cut blade. I know some nerd is going to ask me, it's 63 HRC plus or minus 1. So, pretty much too hard to sharpen with any modern sharpening system. Next knife. TFF1, my very first design. We'll be doing the TFF1 today that we're going to show you. Stained glass. It's been blasted and buffed, so the tops are shiny. Blue anno flame contrast, hardware tumbled. S35 VN blade, just a sexy knife. The original had a big belly. This one's got a little bit flatter belly, so you can't cut your finger between the scales while you're being slick. Lovely knife. Feels great in the hand, even with those big flat slabs. Moving on to knife number 3, and we'll be making some interesting announcements today. On various things as we move forward. They're not PSAs, they're MSAs. Medford service announcements instead of public service announcements. Really like this knife. Next knife, this is a Predator sculpted bronze to violet fade anno. It's got flamed bronze hardware, tumbled Magna Cut blade. Yes, that's right, folks. Magna Cut drop point blade. That will be, what is that? What number knife is it? The third one? That was our third knife. Our fourth knife today. A no kidding, same size knife, same scale knife, but full thickness. I'm going to sit this here while I'm talking so you can see the difference in thickness of the same size knife. This is a MIDI Marauder, not a slim MIDI, but a MIDI. You can see it is not slim as it goes around. 3/16 blade, 3/16 scale material. Now this one is kind of, what are we calling that? Blue or teal? Brushed sides and teal anno, contrast, tumble polished, back spacer, and blade. That blade is S45 VN. We're going to switch all the way over to that knife now. I'm going to get it so you can see it nicely. S45 VN blade. Contrast flame hardware. Lovely, lovely knife. Same size, but in a Tonto configuration. And it has a little chunkier. If you're a Panerai guy and you like a little chunk, or let's say you like basketball and the way Kim Kardashian is shaped, you might like this knife because it's got a little more junk in its trunk. It's got a little pedunk, if you know what I mean. Next, this would be more my style. I'm a little more old school. I like, tits on a stick personally. So this is the exact same knife done in slim MIDI configuration. That's the way I like my Kardashians. I like them a little skinny. I don't like all that junk in the trunk. But I haven't watched as much basketball. My son, he likes a little more pedunk because he's kind of a basketball fan. I don't know the correlation. I can't positively say. I'm not a sociologist. I should be a sexologist at this point. But all I could tell you is I like them thin, and I like that slim MIDI. Exact same configuration knife. I'm going to hold these knives up for you so you can kind of see them. I mean, it's deceptive. Let me see. Here we go. They're like, it looks identical. And then it's like a pregnant woman you're looking at from behind, and then you look at her and you're like, oh boy, look at that. She's pregnant. She turned sideways. I don't know if you're able to see that. Can we see that? All right, cool. All right, which knife am I on now? Oh, we're off to our first ASK knife, which signals we're getting to the point in the show where we're going to be doing one of our MSAs. That would be a Medford service announcement. So this is Ultex Scales, which is a clear amber. This knife has been done, this setup ASK, it's a 6-tool. We should call this a hex. What the hex is going on? We should call this a what the hex. Because it's got 6 tools, no blades in it.
Why do you want no blades?
You know, maybe you're carrying like this knife right here. You just got this in your pocket, and it's really cool, but it's got a little dainty tip on it, and sometimes you need to do other things. You might want a prying, poking, measuring, stabbing, open, scraping, levering, gripping, bolting, bottle opening fuckery. And here it is. This is a triple stack 3-layer Ultex ASK. You'll see that if you go over to askknife.com, and we're going to move over to our first MSA. Ding, 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 ding. This is our Medford service announcement. Number 1, we have 7 of these to do today. The number 1 thing is our ambassador appreciation. We wanted to yell out some props to some folks who've really, they put up nice content, and they've really supported Medford Knife and Tool and ASK Knife a lot. Joe Erler, Sean Simpson, Michael Buell, Sherrod, Justin Smith, and Daniel Dela Cruz. Sherrod is out there. I don't know what he's up to, but he's doing some certified pre-owned Medford thing, like certified pre-owned Lexus. He wanted a bunch of attention from us. I'm not quite sure what to do, but I talk to him. We text with him all the time. He has definitely got back channel linked to the factory. I know whenever he's carrying a Medford knife, if you want to know if it's a real thing, it is. And he's getting spooled up pretty quick on the world of all things MKT. While we come up with our next knife, I'm going to take this triple stack off here, and I'm just going to put this guy out here for you to see what I'm carrying. Number 1, and boy, is it fun. What's that? Oh, I could do a little OTF update while this sexy little bitch is turning on the table. We have January 8th. Our MIM parts are due in. There are some internal parts that are MIMmed. For those of you who don't know, that means metal injection molded. It's a way of getting our costs down on some parts that are tiny and almost impossible to hold on to, and they have to be done hard. We're excited to get those in. We have hundreds of these sitting around, hundreds of chassis and blades and all of the stuff that goes inside, missing a couple little just weird critical parts, which we could make, but they're really hard and it makes it very slow. As soon as these MIM parts get in, these things are going to start coming together. We just did our first pre-assembly of 10. That went pretty nicely. We're working on to the larger assembly kind of learning curve. Sweet knife. For all you OTF folks, thanks for your patience. For those of you who have been very impatient, suck it. You'll get it soon. You'll still be one of the first. All right. Oh, I don't know if I said this or not, but Merry fucking Christmas. Next, S45 yen, tumble polished, big old draw point blade. Peaks and valleys, blasted and brushed, light blue anode, contrast blue hardware. Super sexy. This knife's got a lot of sexy going on. This makes my muscles seem very soft. It's so hard. Next, USMC Fighter Flipper. This knife is ridiculous. Now, you're not going to be able to see this when I put it out there. You'll see it and wonder, but I'm going to say it while I hold it, and then I'll let it rip. So everything's been PVD'd on it, but it's been pinstriped. It's been faced. You can't see that very well. It looks like it might all be shiny black. But that's faced raw titanium with black stripes, black edges, Nichols Damascus blade in high contrast. Tops of the screws have been flashed off. Ball bearing on this side, black hardware in contrast. Just ridiculously sexy. Let's put it up there for you guys to see it in its glory. Next on the docket, we have our Liberator. Let me show you this knife right now. Liberator's got a cool B24 Liberator lasered into the front view technical drawing coming at you. This would be a great knife for, like, let's say, for instance, the day that Hamas attacked Israel. let's say you happen to be an Israeli special agent and you were out walking in your typical schoolyard or field in Palestine. Well, where all those innocent people were cheering and they were partying with their arms up in the air, saying, Allah Akbar, God is great, death to Israel, that day after, while all the Israelis were laying dead and their houses were burning, before Israel decided to defend itself. During that moment, you could walk by and pop, pop, hit a couple people right in the armpit. They'd think a bee stung them. And about 10 steps away, you'd be walking through the crowd. Maybe you'd pop another one, maybe another one. They'd be dropping like flies, maybe 20 steps after you walk by. You could have this thing right back in the sheath, right back in your garb. Nobody would even know. Just the perfect length from the armpit to get to the pericardium. The Liberator. And you almost don't even see it when it's in your hand and it's black. You're like, Allah, 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 and pop, armpit. Just a thought. Merry fucking Christmas. Is this more hostile than yesterday's show? It's bad on par? Okay. What do you think, Bobby? You think we're going to get canceled for that? All right. Well, listen, guys. The midgets at the end of the show, you don't want to miss this. We have them duct taped to a stanchion out there. They're out of fucking control. They've been drinking rum since they got here. And the only thing crazier than two midgets is two midgets minus a fifth of rum. Shit's going to get weird. The only thing I made them promise is so that we don't get kicked off YouTube. They have to wear cod pieces and elves hats. But they are going to do some shit in here later. We're going to film it. And I just warn you, children absolutely should not watch this. Wow. I'm almost pre-traumatized. I have PTSD. I have pre-traumatic stress disorder, not post-traumatic. Yeah. Yeah, this is going to make the guys, who are those guys who always beat the shit out of each other on film? Jackass? Yeah, this is going to be Jackass. Jackass worthy. Moving on, I made a knife years ago called the Gigantes, and if you were to stab somebody with the Gigantes, they'd be far away from you because it was so gigantic, which is why I called it Gigantes. Well, then it was so big, people with short pockets, they loved the knife, but the knife was too big, so we made a shorter knife. So instead of calling it gigant, instead of them being far away, they were more in proximity to you. The Proxima came to life. So one of my favorite designs I've ever come up with, just a great kind of awesome utility knife. When you squeeze in your hand, it makes you just want to stab something. It's lovely. S45EN tumble polish blade. PVD handles, which look to me to be armor lube. Contrast titanium and stainless hardware. Yum. Fantastic knife. All right, moving on. Is this Predator also? We do a lot of Predator, don't we? A Predator drop point Genesis Praetorian with a big, fat, tactical, crazy sharp edge. Woo. So, this knife, let me tell you a little about it. S45VN blade. It's got a tumbled, looks like blast and gentle tumble scales. It's muted with some shiny bits for contrast. Lovely. S45VN blade on a Praetorian Genesis. Sexy time. Remember, if you want to buy any of these knives, go to medfordknife.com. Slip over to medfordknife.com. Click on the vault at the top with the antlers. Boom. As soon as you're there, you'll be at the list. As I talk about each knife, it'll pop up live. Next, our second ASK knife, meaning another MSA is coming. A Medford service announcement. So this is a two-blade, two-tool triple stack. We've got a quarter-turn Zeus fastener on this one. We've got bottle opener, obviously, screwdriver, Warncliffe blade, and a drop point blade. So, lot going on here. Lovely knife. These knives are super cool. Blades, tools, back springs. S45 VN stainless. That one's in gunmetal, navy gunmetal gray. Tumble polished titanium 6AL4V liners. The Swiss Turn hardware is made in the USA. Blades and tools are all made here. The injection molded handles are made in Scottsdale, Arizona. The molds were made in Scottsdale. They were not made in China. It is as American as it possibly gets. Super cool knife. Our next announcement, we're going to talk about this calendar. So Joe on Medford Knife Aficionados had a competition for guys putting up sexy pictures, glam shots of their knives. The top 12 entrants got used into a calendar, and I have one of the calendars here. I've gone through, for those of you who have your knife, your picture in the calendar, for the 12 of you, I went through and signed these. I don't know if you can go over here to camera 2. I put a little signature on them for you, for whoever submitted this picture. Does it say their name? Derek Clark. Derek, I signed this one for you, and it's going to be coming your way. And everybody who got your picture in, I signed your picture, and it'll be headed off to you. Cool thing by Joe. Joe, thanks for the effort. Nice and creative. These are also for sale. So if you go to, now, why would you want to buy a calendar? Okay, well, listen. I have a calendar up, and I stab dates that I do like, and I stab dates that I don't like. Now, when I say I stab dates, I am, not married. I'm not stabbing anybody out in the real world. I'm stabbing calendar dates that I like and don't like. I'll just be sitting here, and I'll take my knife and just stab a date. Sometimes I'm like, when am I going to do something? I'll just, boom, stab the calendar to see what day it falls on, just for fun. You might want a calendar for that. You might want a calendar hanging up in the bathroom, so while you're sitting there having your morning constitutional, you can look up and see a glorious knife and think about how badass your day is going to be. I don't know. Maybe you'll laminate it and put it in the shower. A little happy shower time with a Medford knife. Yeah, that came out a little weirder than I expected. So, if you want to get one of these, what Joe has done is a really nice thing. He obviously paid the money to have these things printed up, and he's got some of them in stock. He's got a limited number of them, and half the proceeds go to the Semper Fi Fund. Back when we had 2 wars going on, and I had a bunch of friends for a while who had lost arms and legs doing EOD work, I got to know the Semper Fi Fund. We had made donations, and we make donations to them regularly. It is one of the only charities in America that goes so directly to veterans. And 100 pennies out of every dollar donated, 100% goes towards the cause. None of it goes towards administration. The administration is all volunteers, civilians, and Marines, former Marines. So Semper Fi Fund is who we support. You even see that when you close out to buy any knife on our websites. You can make a small donation to them. Of course, it's always appreciated. Give you an example of what the Semper Fi Fund does. Let's say you've got a young Marine that's been wounded or sailor, and they're out at the Balboa Hospital. Let's say they come from the hollers of West Virginia or some little place in Ohio. Maybe their mom works at a convenience store, and maybe their dad drives truck or delivers fuel oil to homes for winter. Wonderful Americans not making a lot of money, and all of a sudden their son or daughter's wounded, laying in a hospital out in San Diego from combat. Missing a leg, missing an arm, grievously wounded some other way. Semper Fi Fund would take the family and fly them out. They'll put them up and connect them with their loved one. Pretty amazing what they do. Pretty kind of God's work stuff. For any of the money you spend at buying these calendars, half of it goes to the fund. It's Medford 2024 calendar at gmail.com. Medford, like the company, 2024, like the coming year, calendar. Like, if you don't know how to spell that, you shouldn't have one, at gmail.com. And for Marines who may be wanting to buy one of these who don't know how to spell, Google that shit. They're $40 each. 20 goes to the fund, 20 for the calendar. It's a good price. All right, moving on. Back to the MedfordKnife.com site if you want to buy anything from there. Next is our Theseus. This is really cool. Tumbled handles, black DLC or PVD or Armalube coated blade and back strap spacer with hardware. Just a lovely reverse tuxedo kind of setup with muted tones. One of my favorite knife designs I've ever done. With the Gen 2 clip on it. It doesn't have the coin clip, which so many people just couldn't figure out. I loved it. I thought it was unique, and I could put up with the idiosyncratic nature of the clip because I liked how unique it was. But people, no, it's not a knife clip. Put knife clip on it. So we put a knife clip on it now. So it's got a knife clip on it, but everyone can use it. So some of you are short bus riders, and we embrace you carrying nice knives. And clearly that round clip was just confusing. It discombobulated you. You felt like you got on the short bus and maybe forgot your lunch. So we put a standard clip on it. There you go. Just for you. All right, moving on. Did I say we have midgets? What they're going to do, I don't even know if I'm going to stay and watch. I was grossed out when I saw them kind of warming up. Oh, yeah, they got funny little fingers. I don't know what to tell you. All right, you guys. Predator, all muted out. What do we call this grind again? I already said it. It's got Predator sculpting. It's been all Terminator. We used to call this a Terminator finish. It is, pretty sexy knife. A lot going on here. No kidding. This is S90V. Super cool knife. Super rare. S90V. Praetorian T. Cool sculpting. Just a working man's knife. You could use that knife for 10 years, send it back in, we'd blast it, tumble it, it would look brand new again. All right. So this is our Gen 1 Gentleman Jack. Generation 1 Gentleman Jack. In Raindrop Damascus by Chad Nichols. Black Armalube handles that have been pinstriped. Polished back straps, is made in the United States of America. This does not have the signature walk and talk that we have on the version 2 models. It just has a half stop. It doesn't click in there all aggressively. So if you're super nerdy about that, maybe you want to hold off on this. If you just you want it to stay closed, it snaps closed, it locks open really nicely, and I wasn't all gay about that half stop in the middle. Very cool knife. Super sexy blade. Really, really elegant gentleman's knife. Praetorian Genesis. Raindrop Damascus. Blade by Chad Nichols. You're going to see some light oil fingerprints on this stuff because it's steel and we don't want it over time. You know, you oil steel. That's how you keep it. You keep it lightly oiled. We've got light oil on this stuff, especially after it's recently been had stuff done to the blade to accentuate after we've etched it. We want to have some oil on there to lock in those colors real rich. Brushed faces, Armalube chassis that's been brush faced, super sexy little Praetorian Genesis drop point Tonto. Our next knife's called the Barung. This harkens back to my earlier days. This is a no kidding karambit, kind of a unique style where the back strap is part of the ring, half the ring. Barung, I believe in Indonesian, means bird. Obviously, it's got a little bit of a raptor, kind of bird of prey look to it. It's got a reversible clip. And super cool knife. I don't make these much anymore. So you can flip it open. You can flip it open. You can thumb it open. Depends what cop is asking you to take your knife out, how you want to open it, okay? Super cool knife. Black, Armalube, aluminum, and spring. No. These are both titanium scales. D2 blade, D2 back strap. Super cool knife. Let me throw that out for you to check out. Rare, too. Next, triple stack with Canton blue scales. Canton is the blue part of the American flag, in case you don't know that. It's called the Canton, C-A-N-T-O-N. I don't know if that's because that blue is Cantonese blue from the blue willow plates that came from Canton, China. I'm not sure why it's called Canton. I'm sure somebody can Google that shit and let me know. But Nevertheless, Kenton Blue scales, chisel, bottle opener, drop point blade, Warncliffe, ASK knife. Go to askknife.com. askknife.com. You can check one of those out. Click on the link at the top. You'll be right in there. Next knife. Marauder H. This is the full-size Marauder without the 1/4-inch blade. So it's balanced scales, 3/16 blade, 3/16 handles, with some milling. They're in tumble polish, contrast flame hardware. Total sexy time. S45 VN steel. Are these rare? Are these kind of rare? We don't see a lot of these around, do we? We made a lot of these? Yeah. Current model popular, but it hasn't come through the factory much in the last few months. A lot of times the last part of the year we're kind of wrapping up straggling production of other needs that didn't get met throughout the year. Next, Slim Midi in Tonto. Looks to me like Boomerang, Chad Nichols, Damascus. It is a PVD handles that have been faced and then fade anno, kind of violet color. Contrasting black hardware and contrasting black clip. Everything is sexy about that knife. Oh, we went a little bit out of order for this one. So, yeah, that's the way it happens. It doesn't always happen exactly in order, but it'll work out. Go a couple down on the page and you'll find it. We're back in the sequence now, right? What knife are we on right now? What number? Number 17, Praetorian tie, stained glass. It's been blasted and brushed. This knife comes off a little subtle on film. It is an S45 VN tumble polish blade, tumble polish back strap breaker, contrast tumble polish clip, hardware raw, muted handles, sexy sculpting. You might take this out and nobody would even know it was something super special. So it's kind of flying slightly below the radar. Super cool. This next knife, the color on this is hard for me to like explain how radically cool the color is. I don't know if it's coming off great on camera or not, but this thing is bananas. Now, not only has it been stained glass sculpted, and are we calling this abalone or what are we calling it? So that iridescent colorful that you see in abalone, that is kind of captured in this. This was a Armalube set of handles, backstrap, Vulcan blade. So you can see it's got a lot of color to it. And then that color just jumps into the handles. This S45 VN stainless blade. Just a sick knife. That's one of the coolest color combos I've ever seen on a pocket knife. Sinister. How far into the show are we? I'm going to speed it up just a kitten here. Micro Praetorian. It is all blacked out except for contrast flame hardware. S45 VN steel blade. 3/16 scales on that. Super sexy. Next knife. Midi Marauder in drop point. So this knife is a full thickness knife. It's got this, what are we calling this sculpting? Gator belly sculpting on it, which makes it feel a little thinner and contoured in the hand. It is PVD all the way around, except for the tops of the gator features. Sexy knife. And then that's been gently anode. Oh, on to a triple stack Everclear ASK knife. Let me pull these out so you guys know everything that's in it. I love the satisfying snap these things make. So drop Warncliffe blade in the center. Everclear handles. 4 tools and a blade. That'll get it all done. Bottle opener, all range finding. Does that have 2 bottle openers on It's got a rangefinder bottle opener and a bottle opener. Somebody will be flogged for that, but you have a nice example of both. In addition to that, you've got the chisel, tapered grabber, and a Warncliffe style blade. Right. Menage a bottle opener. All right. Go to asknife.com. asknife.com. Next, we've got another ASK up. This is a flat green ASK. And this is kind of reverse play on that. It's two blades, one on the outside of each with two tools in the middle. Let's see if I can open these up without slicing and dicing myself. So this is our flat olive drab. We should say flat OD. Beautiful knife. Go to asknife.com. Time for another MSA. That'll be a Medford service announcement for some of you late arrivers. Okay, cool announcement. We have an upcoming sweepstakes we're doing in first quarter. It'll be a collaboration between Medford Knife and Tool and K-Bar Knives. This will be the first of many partnerships we're going to be doing throughout the year. The sweepstakes offers some giveaways, and the giveaway is going to be one of the stone knives which I featured in some of my earlier videos, which is a really cool K-Bar knife done with an aluminum handle out of the original mold that the stone knife was made during World War II. And then they also have a one-off prototype knife that they've put up. So two of their knives and two of our knives. We'll be offering up a fixed blade USMC fighter, an homage to the USMC fighting knife that K-Bar is well known for, my take on that, plus our folding USMC fighter flipper. It is a hell of a giveaway. 4 bitchin' rare knives. All you have to do is sign up for it. So you'll see that in our social media. That'll be on Instagram. Yeah, so we'll MailChimp that, Instagram that. You'll see that around. That's our upcoming sweepstakes. Probably going to pop in January on that, right? And it will run for 30 days. Next up, Midi Marauder, Tonto, all blacked out, S45 VN blade. That's full 3/16 scales and blade. That's not a slim midi. That is a midi. It was really cool, and I said, hey, let's make a skinny one. What are we going to call it, boss? We'll call it the Slim Midi. Creatively enough. Now, for those of you who were around for, I don't know, 2 years ago, what was the saga we had with the guy who said I was anti-Japanese? Nishimoto-san. I wouldn't hand polish his blade. He said I was a racist against Japanese people, which is bananas. I love Japos. Now, as a recovering Nipponophile myself, I know a little bit about Japanese history. I've read chunks of the Tale of Genji. There are all sorts of Japanese books I can quote. Some of my favorites would be from Gorin no Sho, The Book of Five Rings, Miyamoto Musashi's quintessential work on strategy, swordsmanship, and life. He wrote while he was in a cave. I love the musings of Takuan. I don't know. I could go on and on. But I also like The Prince of Hosukai. Amy also loves The Prince of Hosukai. And so we've done a TFF1 with the wave of Hosukai on it. It's kind of a quintessential Japanese motif. Many people have seen it and will recognize it, even if you didn't know it was Hosukai. Tumbled handles. The print on it is beautiful. It's got texture, beautiful texture you can feel with your hand, and color. S35 VN blade in Armalube. Contrast anal hardware. Super sexy knife. Next, we'll be covering our Lion TFF1. There are 3 people in your life you could get this for. You might get this for somebody who's always lying down. You might get it for dad. He's always lying on the couch. But you don't want to put like a fat guy on the couch with a flipper in his hand watching TV, 57 channels and nothing on. That wouldn't be a good image to put on a knife. You might have an uncle who just never tells the truth. He's just a lying some bitch. But he's your uncle. You want to get him a knife. You might have a gal in your life who's got big hands. She's just got big hands. It's like from Seinfeld. She's got big hands. I don't know. Her hands are huge. She's a lion of a woman. And this knife would be for all three of them. It's got triple entendre, and what we've done to make it nice is we've just put a lion on it. So, why did you put a lion on my knife? For your uncle that lies a lot. Say, oh, we think you're a lion. We think you're a lion. If you know a Democrat, and they're just lying around, complaining that the world hasn't been fair to them, that's why they don't have enough money for a new car. They're just lying around. Get them with a lion on it. Say, yeah, just think, you're a lion around here. Kind of funny. And if you got somebody in your life who's a goddamn baller, you got the knife with the lion on it for them. So it's a sleeper. I think it's a sleeper. Next, really cool USMC fighter flipper. Nichols Damascus raindrop blade. High sheen PVD coated handles. Blue fade ano contrast hardware. Super sexy. Really unique, one-of-a-kind knife. You could stand around in a group of cool collectors all day long and you'd be the coolest motherfucker in the circle. Next. Ooh. Lindsay, who's here helping me today. Lindsay, would you come around so everybody can say hi? Come over here. Come all the way around. You guys, this is Lindsay. We should have her doing the show. Everyone's going to say, get the girl doing the show. Get rid of Greg. He's a retard. Lindsay's awesome, too. You'll see her lovely fingernails in a lot of our social media while she does posts with her hands. Thanks for your help, Lindsay. She wants you to know, if you'd like to meet her in person and get an autograph, she is signing bare-chested men's chests with Sharpies at knife shows. Big Sharpie. Oh, pink Sharpie. Got it. Blade Show, Texas, February 23rd, 24th. Now, I'll be there with her, so don't get sassy or I'll bitch slap you. Well, actually, I don't need to do anything. She's my security detail. She could bitch slap you or box jump over your wife. We'll also be at the Atlanta Blade Show, June 7th through 9th. Lord willing and the creek don't rise. All right. Next. Another ASK knife. Go to askknife.com if you're interested in this knife. askknife.com. This is an accident, and it's turned into a thing. I want to tell you about the blades and the steel and what we have going on here. This is our cobalt finish. It's a DLC coating. It is a fade from gold to blue. It is sexy as hell, high sheen, and we all just kind of fell in love with it when we saw it. It was a fluke. Don't even know if it's replicatable. The handles on this are interesting. There are Carb X. I spent almost a year working on this with our molding company to come up with this material. They're carbon fiber injected with amalgam into a mold. And we get what looks like marbled carbon fiber out of an injected molded part, and it's real carbon fiber. They are lighter than their plastic counterparts. They are stiffer. They are stronger. And they look super cool. Can you see that with the camera, Bobby? Nice. Of course, I'm going to start coughing right while I'm filming the show. I'm gonna take a candy. I'm going to have a drink of water.
Time for a Medford promotion.
What's this?
Hold that up.
Oh, well, we have this planned. We have this planned. Is it time to do it? All right, cool. Well, didn't I just do a PSA? MSA? Now we're out of... Okay, you guys. Hey, listen. Let me let you know about this. Oh.
Producers of John Wick.
So, the producers of John Wick and the internationally renowned film director John Woo have put out this film called Silent Night. I haven't seen the film yet. I literally went on a date the night this came out, and I saw Napoleon. I was like, "We're going to see Napoleon Dynamite," and then I said, "Oh, we're going to go see Napoleon," and then I was like, "Dynamite." I don't know. Didn't make any friends that night, but I could have taken the girl to see a movie that I'm actually in. Hilarious. So see if you could spot me in the movie. Am I the only talking in the entire film?
Pretty much.
It's a silent film. It is a full-length feature action film that looks bananas, which I haven't seen yet, unbelievably, just because I'm slightly busy and I'm a single dad half the week. It features the USMC fighter in it. It features yours truly in it. And I hear the movie's actually really good, so I hope it becomes a cult classic. Silent Night, go check it out, by John Woo, internationally acclaimed film director. It should be a savage film to watch. And for those of you who own USMC fighters, you can, I don't know, stand in your underwear in the living room watching a TV with your knife. Have it out. Watch the film. Follow the moves. Do the moves. Live and learn, as you like. Whatever. Moving on. Back to medfordknife.com. Next knife up is a Praetorian Slim. Right? Praetorian Slim. Peaks and valleys. It's been PVD'd, top brushed, contrast, ano, S45 VM blade, PVD coated blade. Lovely, lovely knife. A gentleman anywhere or a badass would be happy to carry that knife. Next, Slim Flipper, Praetorian Slim Flipper. It's in Predator sculpt, blue ano handles, contrast flame hardware, black PVD blade. Sexy time. Sometimes in knife making accidents happen, and sometimes the accidents turn out to be something like the cobalt finish on the ASK knife we saw a few minutes ago. Next, what happened is we cut out some knives, and they oversized the component of the knife that had to fit into another component, and they were all complete and utter scraps. So I took the blade, cut the handle up, put some rope on it, and decided I actually kind of liked the feel of it and thought it was sexy. So this has the blade of, what's the knife? The Raider. It has the blade of a Raider and has a skeletonized hand-woven handle, Kydex sheath. It's called the CYA, which stands for cover your ass. Sometimes you just got to cover your ass. Sometimes you get lemons, you make some lemonade. That's what happens. All right. I made this neck knife Praetorian, neck Praetorian. I love this stumpy little fucker. Somebody said it's a chode. I said, I don't know, but it sounds like them's fighting words. Chode. I heard that was well, I don't even want to say what I heard that was. Obscene. People are obscene. Got a lanyard to go around the neck, Kydex, inverted carry sheath, skeletonized Praetorian neck knife. You can find that at medfordknife.com. Next up, Praetorian Genesis with a radical. Yeah, that is a radical Vulcan finish. Predator bronzed handles with bronze hardware. Contrast tumbled breaker. Super sexy knife. What number is that one? That's number 30. Got 17 more, folks. We're 2/3 of the way through this show. All right. Next up, another Everclear ASK knife, go to askknife.com. This is the standard Jefferson setup, but done in a beautiful kind of tactical stonewash finish. Contrast tumbled liners, as turned hardware. Sexy, sexy, yummy. All right, you guys, I want to tell you about one other thing we've got going on. Mystery boxes. They're listed on the product pages. Now, so if you're at medfordknife.com and you click on the vault, that we're in the Santa Sleigh thing right now, the first two items are mystery boxes. The first one is an entry-level knife with some swag. And the second one is a not entry-level knife with some swag. Whichever one's more expensive is the not entry-level knife. But they're both really cool with cool swag. Check out the mystery boxes at the top of the page. All right, moving on. Praetorian T in dragon scale finish, flamed, tumbled S45 VN blade, tumbled breaker, contrast flame hardware. Everything about that knife is upper class. Super cool. Our next knife is a slim midi in Tonto configuration with an oily ass blade. Oh, okay. You got a rag? That's what I said when I was oiling up a stripper the other night. I was trying to make her pop. Yeah, I didn't make the nice list, kids. But Santa doesn't get gifts, so Santa doesn't need to worry about being on the nice list. You know what I'm saying? All right, you guys. We had a couple left over of these frag pattern scales. They were, whenever you make, if someone orders 100 of something, you make 110 to take care of any drops or scraps that may happen. And sometimes you don't have any drops or scraps. You only have 2, and you end up having 8 left over. We wait a year, and then some of these pop out. We originally did these for Monkey Edge. So this is black DLC coating on titanium, frag pattern handle, contrast flame hardware, Vulcan Tonto blade. Super cool knife. You will not see us offer these. You won't see them around, and it's a rare knife indeed. Next knife, Praetorian T in full blackout. Everything on it's black except the stop pin. I have things bouncing around inside my head. Bad jokes from the 1970s. I was going to adapt them for this knife that's all black. And it has one shiny pin. It has a part that's not black. And I just decided, I know some of you think I'm an uncaged lunatic, or I'm an asshole, or I'm a racist, or whatever. I just filtered myself, and I'm not going to tell the joke about why the whole knife is black except for the pin. But inside, there's a deviant little devil on my shoulder. And it's putting a smile on my face and making me chuckle deep on the inside. I got full-on sphincter kind of squeeze going on right now. It's funny. Merry Christmas. S45 VM blade, all blacked out. Hey, hand me that black knife. Can't you just say knife? There it is. There's a knife. Isn't that boring? Let's check out this knife. It's a black knife. Black knives matter. Fuckers. All right, moving on. Micro Praetorian. Now, this one, if you know any gay or trans people or people from Miami or down in the, what's that southern area down there? The Keys. This would... Yeah, the Keys. The gays section of Florida. The gays. If if you know anybody who lives in a gay section, this would be a great knife for them to have. Or people that might like parrots. Like if you like parrots, margaritas, very colorful. Let's say you're one of those, if you know somebody in your life who wears like a Hawaiian shirt a lot, perfect knife for them. Or trans people or gays. Because this thing doesn't know what it wants to be. It's got a little identity thing going on. It's cool. Like it's a knife. Like, oh, we get it. You're a knife. Man, I'm so supportive. I'm not sure what this color is all about. But, you know, cool. That's this knife. Micro Praetorian S45 VN blade, tumble polished, contrast tumbled clip and backbreaker in stained glass with sexy colors. And I mean sexy. These colors are fabulous. They're just playful and bright and pastelish. McZorro corking his boots. These are just fabulous colors. They'd go with a pinky ring or a half shirt. Anything that would show a man's midriff. White cutoff shorts on a man. All right, moving on. All black Praetorian Genesis S45 VN blade. If the Black Panthers carried knives, this would be the knife they'd carry. Now, they'd probably be stolen, but that would be the knife. And I didn't mean they would steal them because they're black. I would mean they steal them because they don't want anything traceable, because they might do stuff with them. Such racists out there. You guys hear with a racist ear, you don't even hear what I'm saying. So I have this knife. I hope you like it. Moving on to another knife. Something about this knife just tickles my funny bone. I love the USMC Fighter. I love the USMC Fighter Flipper. And this thing's been kind of two-toned like a tuxedo. Really cool. It's hard to pick this up a lot of times on camera. The flats of the blade, which have some fingerprints on it from yours truly, have been hand polished. I don't know, not polished. They've been hand brushed. And then the pommel is the same. And the face of the clip has been done. So, got some really pretty contrast on this knife. It's also been pinstriped, which I didn't even notice until it was turning in the light. I mean, this black, when you have black and shiny next to each other, it's kind of hard to differentiate what's going on. Next, TS1 from my very first 12 knives I ever drew. This knife was meant to be kind of 3 blades in one. It was meant to be the belly of a buoy, a recurve of a kukri, and the spear tip of a tonto. They're super comfortable, great saddle for the thumb on the back side. Not a knife you'll see very much, but that knife got around the world, believe you me. That's a TS1 from back in the day. Next is a DFMT, right? This is a Fieldmaster. It's the thin Fieldmaster that I came out with for the best pricing. In all black, 3/16 blade, Tanto hand-woven paracord handle, sexy black Kydex sheath. A great deal in the knife business for such a handmade knife. Couple of tools on that thing. You're never going to undo it, so you can use a quarter turn, but whatever. Next, I'm going to pull this off here. Praetorian tie. Beautiful Vulcan blade. Bronzano hardware. Bronzano tie. It is PVD components that have been sculpted, faced in bronze, lightning sculpted with bronze ano. It is a bronze and black knife which pulls the bronze and black colors out of that Vulcan finish on the blade and ties everything into a kind of beautiful color coordinated picture there. Praetorian tie. Super sexy, marquee, badass knife. Since it's such a pricey fucker, we're going to let it have a second lap here so you can see it. Good times, people. What number are we on? Nice. All right, guys. 10 more minutes, maybe. I was in a little bit of an Italian designer mood. Came up with this knife years ago. S45VN tumble finished blade and backstrap. Contrast flame anno. Gold. What are we calling it? What is this? Is that dragon scale? Bronze anno, dragon scale, sculpted titanium handles. That's what it is. But that one should be dragon skin. The other one should be cobblestone because that looks like dragon skin. Because I've seen a dragon. I did a lot of shrooms about 6 weeks ago, and I actually battled a dragon. It grabbed my penis and flew me to another town, but I woke up in my bed. It was so weird. That didn't happen. I've never done shrooms, but I was on a date about a year ago. Remember I told you about the gal who did shrooms? So I go on a date with this gal, and she said her roommate had some shrooms, some microdose of psilocybin. So she thought she was microdosing psilocybin, and she thought her friend had said take 3 of these, and it's a perfect little. So she took whatever the number was, and while she's sitting at dinner with me, she hunched over like Gollum and started like looking around. And here's what's weird. She would do this. Her eyes would turn, and then her head would follow her eyes. It was really bizarre. And she was like, and she kept doing this with her hands. And then she was drinking so much water, I thought she was going to pop. And she kept asking for more water. And I was like, hey, are you okay? She started sweating. She was tripping while I was sitting. I mean, worst first date ever. What's that? I don't know. I just thought I would tell you a little anecdote about my dating experience. And that was from a referral. That wasn't like off a Hinge or Facebook dating. That was like somebody, it was a friend of a friend. And they thought they were doing a microdose because they were having some anxiety about going out to dinner with me, and they had a full-on fucking trip. And I was like, oh my God, get us out of here. Check. Moving on. Everclear handles showing. Sexy cobalt finish coming through. This Jefferson composition knife. Really, really cool. Boy. I'm going to set that up for you to look at. It is just gorgeous. I've already given you the details on that. Go to asknife.com to check that out. Click on the link at the top for Santa's Sleigh Holiday Show 2023. There you go. Any other announcements, or are we done?
There's one more announcement. I'm going to wait till you get to these.
All right. Don't forget, this holiday season, go see Silent Night. See if you can spot yours truly in the film. See if you can spot which knife is there. It's a ton of fun to see products we make in films. And this one's got a lot of placement. You won't have to look real hard. It's pretty cool. Next, back to medfordknife.com if you want to buy this next knife. Micro Praetorian tie. This is rare as hen's teeth. And since hens don't actually have teeth, I guess that's a misnomer. Lightning sculpted titanium handles 3/16. They feel very sculpted because of the shape. They feel very contoured in the hand. This is definitely for somebody who likes chunky stuff, big rings, cool bracelets, fat watches. Vulcan blade. And I'm not talking about Jake the Medford guy. Next, one of my favorite knives we've ever made. Slim Flipper Praetorian in a Damascus blade. So it looks like boomerang Damascus. It's got a lightning sculpt, PVD handles and hardware. That's as gentleman knife as it gets. That crosses over. That's if you're not just a gentleman, but a non-nerd gentleman. That's for a cool guy gentleman. Maybe he's a former pipe hitter who knows how to dress up and speak well. That's what you'd carry. This is not our last folder, is it?
This is our last folder.
our last Medford knife of the day. Well, our last folding Medford knife of the day with some scroll work done on it. It's got some large banknote scroll done, lasered on, S45 VN polished tumble blade, back strap, opposing gold hardware, and I'll let you look at the artwork yourself. A really cool knife with a really cool dressing, very, very sexy. Our last knife, over to askknife.com. We've got a knife that doesn't actually, this is a custom, this doesn't actually get made by us, the way it's configured here. A bottle opener and a Warncliffe style blade. All in stone-washed finish. Non-glare, non-reflective stone-wash finish with amber handles. Super cool knife. Go to askknife.com. Click the link at the top. What? What? Oh, no. We don't make that knife in that configuration. That knife's not made in that configuration. It's just a custom. Yeah. All right. Last but not least, we're going to show you a couple of blades from our new Pro Series. In 2024, you're going to see us release 10 new fixed blades. They've got really the kind of the synthesis of all of my design experience and thinking on fixed blade knives, what I've seen and loved over the years. My favorite sheath, my favorite handles, my favorite blade styles, done with some elegance and some fun thoughtfulness to them. They're all going to come with really sexy handmade, hand-stitched, top-grain cowhide American-made sheaths. Very much a 1960s style, but 2023 quality, 2024 quality. Handles are all going to be sculpted, fully surface G10 in 3 different colors, black, tan, and OD. Blades are all going to be... Are we doing black? I don't think we're doing black in the first run. The blades are all raw steel. These are just down and dirty knives. Super, super cool. First one is the AIO2. The first version of this knife I did for a friend of mine, John, former recon Marine. And he gave me a crayon drawing, and I came up with a knife from it. And then this has evolved to a whole nother level. So, it's too big? That's what she said. It's too big. Hold it up. Very cool knife here on camera, too. It's got a hex, forward lanyard, lashing notches, so you can put a stick out to here and lash further up and get that much purchase on a spear to do some hunting if you need to, impromptu. It's got a smasher on the back. Titanium hardware. Feels fantastic in the hand. Wonderful leather sheath. Everything about this is just lovely, sexy, and high-end. The next is the Sand. And this is our last knife of the show. Merry Christmas to all you monsters. Steel is CPM 3V. It's called the Sand. The Sand are a group of tribesmen, hunters, early primitive types out of Africa, I believe. And we've named the knife after them. It's simple. It's elegant. It's raw. You can use it with some ferro rod. It's just everything about it is really a bushcraft knife. It's got a great sheath. As it goes down in the sheath, it slides down in here. So it's retained really nicely, but it's kind of low catch. So you can lash it down and have it real tight up against you, and very unlikely to be catching on things as you're maybe whacking through some foliage or bush while you're out bushwhacking, backcountry. And it's ambidextrous. You can flip that thing around. Thanks, Bobby. Folks, that's the show. Merry Christmas 2023. A year riddled with The military-industrial complex trying to cram another war suppository up the American public's ass. Thwarted by Tucker Carlson and Joe Rogan probably. Those two men have probably done more for the peace movement, they're not the peace movement, for the non-war movement of America. I'm sick of Democrats and liberals voting for weakness so that our country ends up at war and they wonder why their children get sent off to war. I'm sick of weakness. I don't like his words. He's not nice. I don't want a nice president. I want a badass. I don't want a nice Congress. I want a badass Congress. I don't want nice representatives. I want fucking badasses. You should too. And for all you weak-hearted little bunny rabbit, milquetoast, soft hand, soft Americans, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome for the land of milk and honey. You're welcome for the freedom to be so blind. You're welcome. You're welcome. All I need from you, thank you. Vote for warriors, not war mongers. Warriors. You can always tell the difference. Warriors never want battle. Warmongers always use it as an excuse. So that's my note for the close of the year as we wrap up with leaves fallen and the soft crunch of snow under our feet, entering the gentle season of Norman Rockwell and the Germanic Santa Claus. I would say, let us go into 2024 resisting the war. And I say the war because it's always the war. It was the Middle East wars, all three of them. It was the Ukraine war. They tried to get us a war with Russia. It's the proxy war here and the proxy war there. It's the nearly 100 elections that we've monkeyed with globally. You know, the globe's not honest, and neither are we. Let's be honest about that, at least. Let's not have another war this year. Let's have 2024 be the year we fight it out in the streets of America. Let's fight it out in the polling booths, and let's get somebody back in who gets our energy below $2 a gallon so Americans can afford to do what we do, grow this country, grow our children, love our families, and honestly, fuck everybody else. To quote Elon Musk, fuck everybody else. Merry Christmas, you savages.